You wake up expecting traffic, meetings, and unread emails. Instead, every screen in your home freezes on the same alert. For the first time in your life, the word war isn't a headline. It is the shape of your entire day. A global war does not begin with every skyline burning. For most people, it starts as a heavy, confusing morning where normal habits feel slightly wrong. Somewhere overseas, a confrontation between major powers has finally broken past speeches and warnings. Missiles have been used. Bases and ships have been hit. Allies are now committed, and the United States is fully involved. From your street, it does not look like a battlefield. Cars still move. A school bus still rumbles past. The difference lives on the screens. News maps show distant regions in red outlines. Captions mention escalation and retaliation. Officials speak slowly and avoid clear promises. You are not in a blast zone. Most Americans never will be. Yet life still bends under this new reality. Airspace changes. Financial systems react. Governments shift from routine planning to crisis mode. What you feel through this one day is not direct fire, but pressure on every system you depend on. This day is not about dramatic scenes. It is about the slow breakdown of certainty and comfort, and the choices you make while that happens. The first real change is not outside your window. It is the language on your screen. Federal agencies raise the defense posture and push coordinated alerts through every major channel. Phones vibrate on tables. Television programs cut to emergency messages. Radio stations pause music. For a flat official voice asking people to stay indoors when possible, limit travel, and watch for updates. In the background, airspace over key cities tightens. Some flights are held at the gate or turned around. Military aircraft move to higher readiness. You cannot see that from your front porch. What you see is a quiet pause in normal life. Work emails stop talking about quarterly goals and start talking about safety. Group chats that never shut up suddenly slow. Online, reactions split almost at once. Some people point to the calm street outside and insist this is overblown. Others jump straight to worst-case ideas and treat every rumor as confirmed. News channels repeat the same short briefing, showing the same 10 seconds of footage. There are references to consultations with allies and proportional responses, but very little detail. If you are at work or school, indecision hangs in the air. Managers argue in doorways about closing early. Some parents arrive without notice to collect their children. You might receive an email telling you to use your judgment without saying what that judgment should be. Your smartest move in this part of the day is to decide where you want to be if things worsen, and to act before everyone else makes the same choice. For most people, that place is home or a trusted relative's house. Once there, you begin quiet preparation. You put water into sinks, tubs, and containers. You pull basic food, medication, and flashlights into one area. You talk with family about how you will stay put for at least a day, and how you will check on each other if the network is slow. As the hours pass, screens stay bright, but answers stay thin. Behind the scenes, cyber operations begin to bite. Banks, service providers, and governments work to keep their main systems online, while hostile actors try to disrupt or spy on them. Every day, tools still suffer. You notice it first as small glitches. A payment app that usually opens at once now spins. A news site fails to load. Video calls freeze. Then more failures stack up. Some card payments stop working at gas stations and stores. Online banking goes from slow to unavailable. In some regions, television anchors mention cyber components of the conflict without detail. Social media fills in the gaps with noise. Clips claim to show strikes on major cities, many of them old or edited screenshots of fake government statements spread fast. The more you scroll, the less sure you feel. At this point, information itself is something you have to manage. You cannot follow everything, so you choose. You pick a few sources most likely to be authentic: federal and state emergency feeds, local agencies, and if you have one, a simple radio. You listen, write down key points, then put the phone down. You make an honest list of what is in your home in terms of water, food, medicine, cash, and fuel. Driving across town in search of better news is a poor use of fuel and time. Forwarding every rumor to everyone you know only spreads more fear. In a day like this, part of staying safe is refusing to become another amplifier of confusion. By the time more people accept that this situation is not fading before lunch, everyday errands feel different. Governments start to protect critical supplies and transport fuel, medical shipments, and certain freight move first. Commercial deliveries and retail stock move later, if at all. You see that shift the moment you walk into a store. Shelves for bottled water, canned food, baby formula, pet food, and batteries thin out fast. Some locations switch to cash only because payment networks are unreliable. At gas stations, lines grow longer. People top off half-full tanks just in case. Prices may jump. Tempers rise as pumps slow or stop. A few stations put up signs saying "limit per vehicle" or "no fuel." Police cars or local officials park nearby to discourage fights. Workplaces and schools respond by closing in larger numbers. Official statements talk about precaution and mental health. In reality, many leaders simply do not know what tomorrow brings and choose to pause. If your home already has a reasonable amount of food and water, this is the moment to step back from the most crowded aisles. Getting into a shouting match over the last case of bottled water does not improve your safety. You protect the fuel in your car by driving only when it truly matters. You move older relatives or vulnerable friends closer while travel is still possible and relatively safe. Inside your house, you agree on simple rules for light use, water use, food portions, and how you will respond to knocks at the door. The people who struggle most now are often the ones who lived day to day with no buffer, or who treated earlier alerts as background noise. As the afternoon fades, pressure moves from highways and stores to neighborhoods. Local governments and emergency managers work to set up shelters, information points, and support hubs. They talk about curfews in certain districts to limit accidents and potential crime if power cuts spread. On your street, you begin to see how people handle stress. Some neighbors knock with extra supplies or with news from a battery radio. Others knock because they have already run short and hope someone will share. A few homes stay dark, choosing distance over contact. You also see small disputes. Someone is angry about a car blocking their driveway. Another complains about a generator that runs loudly through the evening. At the same time, volunteer groups form around schools, churches, or community halls. People offer blankets, food, and skills without waiting for official orders. You cannot fix every problem on your block, but you can decide how you will act. You choose how much you can share without risking your own household. You look for one or two neighbors you trust and help in clear, limited ways. Someone has tools. Someone has basic medical training. Someone has a working radio. You connect those strengths instead of joining a large, loose group where no one is clearly responsible. Saying yes to everyone out of guilt does not help. Locking everyone out is not wise either. You watch actual behavior, not just words, and set firm but fair boundaries. When night comes, the conflict feels closer. Even if no attack has come near your city, more regions start controlled blackouts to protect the grid. Some areas lose power from cyber problems or overload. Hospitals and emergency services switch to generators and focus on serious cases instead of routine care. Outside, the familiar glow of signs and windows is gone. Streets that were bright every evening now sit in near darkness. You might see only a few distant porch lights and the sweep of a patrol car's headlights. Loudspeakers in some places remind people to stay indoors after curfew and to avoid gatherings. Inside, families gather in 1 or 2 rooms with the safest mix of warmth and airflow they can manage. Radios carry short updates repeated often, with long stretches of static between them. The voices you hear sound calm but tired. Your best use of this time is not constant watching. You set a simple night routine. One last check for official updates, one last look at doors and windows, lights down to save batteries or fuel. If you have more than one adult, you agree on a short watch system so that at least some people can sleep fully while one stays lightly awake. You keep one light and a first aid kit where you can reach them easily. You use the quiet time to review earlier notes about supplies and instructions. Then you stop planning and let your mind rest. A few slow breaths or a brief calm talk with someone you trust can prepare you better for tomorrow than another hour of staring into the dark. Staying awake all night will not change decisions made far away. It will only leave you less able to think the next day. A home where at least some people have rested is safer than one where every adult is shaking with fatigue. While you live through this day, a separate game plays out above you. Major powers are testing limits. Some carry out limited military actions, careful not to cross the line into a out-nuclear exchange navies shift in key sea lanes. Bombers and fighters fly patrols near borders. Cyber units push and probe at networks around the world. Alliances hold emergency meetings and activate plans written in calmer years. They send forces to certain regions, fly air patrols, and prepare medical and humanitarian support. Diplomats speak on secure lines to find any path that avoids worse escalation. Global financial markets are partly frozen to prevent panic from turning into collapse. Cargo ships divert to safer ports. Some airports close, while others handle only emergency flights. Governments quietly rank their own regions by risk and need. You do not see those maps. You feel the results. Shortages that may last days or weeks. Offices that stay closed. Delayed paychecks, canceled travel, and empty spaces on store shelves. Even if your town never sees a direct attack, the shape of the conflict still reaches your kitchen table. This is the real lesson of a single day in World War III. Even small steps taken early in the day can shift your odds later. Clear heads, written plans, and quiet cooperation matter more than any gadget today. The people who cope best are not the loudest voices or the ones with the most gear. They are the ones who kept some extra water, food, and light at home. They knew which room in the house could become a simple base if they had to stay inside. They had at least once talked with family about what to do if phones stopped working or if an alert ever arrived. In a war this large, most choices are made far above you. But inside your home, calm planning beats panic. You cannot control the conflict, only your response to it.